Full day in Georgia, so I'm sitting on my deck and just enjoying the Portalay toilet that is parked in my backyard. We're getting some work done in our basement, so that's why I don't have a studio space at the moment. But it's exciting, and I'm on my phone, so hopefully you won't hear any like construction or anything like that. Anyway, so instead of waiting for people to come on, I decided that maybe I might start talking about things that I've learned along the way until I get some questions, until someone's here. So, yeah, I didn't really promote this today, but it would be wonderful to have you on. Hey, Steph! Oh, great. I'm not alone. So, first, I'll start off with an anecdote when I first got into this industry, where you know how people will tell you, definitely don't do this because it's career suicide. I probably have done almost everything that they say not to do in career land for acting. For example, there was this time when I first moved to LA, and I'm totally gonna name drop because I remember I was so upset about this. But I was modeling in New York, and when I got here, I had just turned 26, I think it was. Yes, and the cutoff for LA models was 26. And no, I got married at 26. It was some ridiculously low number. It was like 24, 25. And I remember going into the audition, I was like, oh, well, I look like I'm in high school still. It's going to be fine. And I get there and I lie and I say I am 21, right? Because, you know, Hollywood's like all ageism and whatever. And I remember getting all the way up to the front of the line, and now they're checking licenses to make sure you're that age. And I was like, oh no. And I remember like walking out of there and just being like, so like they wouldn't even see me, like wouldn't even look at me. They had like an assistant telling me that yeah, I can't audition or do the open call for to be a part of LA Models because I was not young enough. But I heard now that LA Models is not that way anymore because they have a lot of lifestyle models and models. That's where the money is anyway. It's like nobody's into these like stick thin, super young type of models anymore. It's like very much real, and I love this new direction where like Hollywood is going, and later on, it was that day where I was like, I'm going to prove them wrong. And I ended up getting signed to another modeling agency, which, by the way, I did an open call and I looked at the piece of paper of this girl who had a modeling agency. She had a book and everything. She was totally profesh. And I looked at let's say her name is Sarah. I looked at where she was from. And so then what I did, because I looked up this agency and I was like, we only accept referrals. And so what I did was I actually went on Sunset Boulevard where this agency was. I knocked on the door and they had like a video camera and they're like, yes. And I'm like, oh, hi. Oh my gosh. I'm friends with Sarah. She told me to come. So they're like, well, we only go on referrals. I know. I was like, I know. That's why Sarah just told me to come. And they're like, that's kind of odd. And they just kind of like looked at me and they're like, do you have a book? And I'm like, yeah, it's right here. And then the owner comes downstairs. We get into this great chit chat. I ended up getting signed. And I don't know if you guys remember this TV show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah, and it's with the suitcases. Almost all the girls from this agency had these suitcases, like were on that show. And so I was like, I just need to get on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and like it's gonna be my whole career is just gonna blow up, and I'm gonna be this famous actor. No, but the moral of the story is sometimes you just got to break the rules in order for you to get through. And I do not regret breaking the rules. I also had youth on my side and a lot of when I say youth, I mean like naivete. Like I could always pull the, oh, but I didn't know card. So yeah. And that was one of my first rule breaking experiences. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, thanks. I like my chair too, Steph. Okay, so I will. I'm on my phone. Remember, guys, I'm not very good at this YouTube live thing. Nope, that's not how you see the questions. This is not how you see the questions. Huh. I promise you. I will figure it out. Ah, there it goes. Haha, yes, break the rules. Yes, it's the best. Breaking the rules is the best. I'm trying to think of other times where I broke the rules. Oh, okay. So, guys, I am a really big proponent of like characterization. It makes acting a lot more fun for me. I learned all of these tricks through the acting center. Oh, before I forget, I don't know. I'm an unofficial sponsor, or Awesome Funking Mugs is an unofficial sponsor of me. I'm literally not getting paid to do this, but I really, really love my friend's new mug line. She has like a whole section just for actors things, and I love this. Is so cute. Line. How many times have you been on set and you're like da 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 line, and I'm like, yes, I want this mug. And they have a whole section on music and sales and vegan people. So go check it out. I'll put the link down below. But while I tell this story, I'm going to sip on my tea. So I'm a huge proponent of knowing your character. And sometimes when you get the breakdown from like an audition and you read the script and you're like, the breakdown's wrong. Like, you have to realize that sometimes the breakdown isn't written by the director or the writer. It's actually, it could be written by the casting director. And maybe that's what the casting director sees for the show, but you're getting hired for your ideas, right? So why not just go with your ideas? And that's when I just stopped caring of like, okay, what does the casting director want? I'm just like, what is fun for me to play? And I did that with Station 19, actually. I saw the show, I saw the script, and I was like, no, she's not a real estate agent. Actually, to be honest, I didn't even look at the breakdown. I just created a character based on the writing. So I came in, I decided she was going to be a DJ. And so I had like this like Kiss shirt and ripped shorts. And, and I walk in there and everybody's like wearing a suit and like very like prim. And I was just like, oh no. I was like, you know what? I am good with my choice. Like I'm picking that choice. And I remember going to the audition room and the casting director kind of looking at me a little bit like confused. And I'm like, but then I do it and they're like, okay, now can you do it a little bit more corporate? Because like this girl's supposed to be a real estate agent, like anything that like is on the sides, like you should do. So I was like, okay, fine. So I did it the real estate version. I was like, okay, cool. I have to switch my character person real quick in my head. Boom. Okay. But I could show that I could do it. And that was the point. It was like, all right, this is my idea. And now I will do your idea. But I'm going to come in with my idea first. And what was cool is that when I did go on set and I was in wardrobe, I was like not in real estate clothes at all. I actually turned into an art not director, but you know, like the people that like in the museums and they're like, this is all the art that we have today. Oh my gosh, there's an actual term for this person, but I can't remember it at the moment. I'm having a brain fart. But this just goes to show, like, just do what you want to do. Like, just read the character. If the character said something else, and I literally had an audition yesterday where it's like, okay, wear your personal style, wear something trendy. And I was thinking, no, this girl, she's like geek chic. Like she's a techie. Like, no, I'm not going to like look fly like my normal self. But I'm going to like, I still like chose something fly, but I chose more geek chic because I felt this character was more like a techie. And I didn't think that she knew the first thing about like, oh yeah, let me go down the street and like pick out the best clothing. So yes, an art curator. Thank you, Gino. Yes, that's the term. So, so yes, that I really highly suggest that you start trusting your own instincts for auditions, because that's usually when I stopped paying for a coach to give me ideas was when I started booking the most. And it's not that the coach had bad ideas, it was just it was their ideas. And when it came out of my mouth, it just didn't work because it didn't I didn't furnish it. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that is what I've learned. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like I'm just talking. Okay, well, I'm gonna have some more tea out of my line mug from Awesome Funking Mugs. It's so you guys, this is so fun. So yeah, exactly, Steph. Trust yourself. Yeah. Okay, what's another crazy story? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna tell you about the story went pre-COVID, where I totally went to Sharon Bialy's office. Sharon Bialy of *Handmaid's Tale*, *Breaking Bad*, all this stuff, and I decided to do like what's called like a book a job challenge. Oh, do you consider going to audition room in character and let them have first impression about you or your preparation? Okay, this is such a good question, and I will go back to the Sharon Bialy thing after this question because I think it's a great question. So, when you, I always go in genre, not necessarily the character, but genre, because I kind of do want them to get a little bit of my personality because I truly believe that's the thing I miss the most about live auditions. Like, I don't mind live Zoom, actually, it's fine. But, like, doing a self tape, you're not going to get my full personality because I'm just being the character. But I used to go into a room in genre. So if I'm playing like maybe like say like I'm playing a lesbian or something like that, and I've picked for my choice as a lesbian that I'm going to have like cornrows or something like that. I'm gonna act a little bit boyish because in my mind I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick this type of lesbian, a little bit more butch, a little bit more whatever. Like I'm gonna come in a little bit more butch than if I was gonna come in like myself, which is very bubbly and like whatever. Like I feel like when you walk in and the casting director's like, no. Because I remember being on the other end where I was helping a casting director do this movie, and this guy's headshot was like amazing. You're just like, oh my gosh. And then he walks in, and he walks in as himself and not really the way this picture looks, which you think is gonna be the character. And he's just kind of like, hi. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, this is like our leading man who's supposed to be a murderer. Like he's gonna turn into a murderer. Like, no, I don't buy it. Right? So like I think it's important that you walk in based on what the casting director cast you as. Like they obviously wanted you in a certain way. Maybe your headshot pulled them to pick you as this character. So we have an actor on the line, Gino Montesinos, and he's very good at this. I've heard some of his voiceover auditions for characters, and he even will slate his name the way the character is, not like, hi, I'm Gino Montesinos, and then like he like will sound like the character. And I think it's really beneficial because right away you can see, okay, this guy is the part. Oops. So I got a question. I know that there's a way to get the answers. Oh, here we go. Nope. I don't know what you said, Aiden. Can you write that again? Because on my phone, it goes really fast and then it comes back, and I'm still learning the ropes. Okay, what's your favorite on-set experience, and how do you decide when to use an accent? Okay, my favorite on-set experience was probably Jane the Virgin. And the reason why I say that is because there was this time where, oh my gosh, we were doing this really big scene in a club. And there were so many extras. And you can see how many people were just like, the extras are getting, like restless, and it was really hard to do the scene because we had to now, okay, my face, the friend's face, her face, like everyone's face and all our reactions. And I remember Gina, Gina Rodriguez, she stands up on a couch, on a chair, and she's like, I just want to say thank you so much. And she just really acknowledged all the background actors as if they're actors and not just like pieces of furniture that are going to walk and go back and forth. And I said, if I ever get to her level, I'm going to be a little just like that. And I just thought it was like the best thing ever. She's so sweet, so just like down to earth. And also she's a graduate of NYU. And I am too. I think she was 1 year ahead of me or 1 year below me, but I know we only had a 1 year difference. So that was my favorite on-set experience. Now, as far as accents go, there are some times where you read a script and you're like, this girl has a thick Brooklyn accent. And you just feel the vibe. I've even changed my eye color for an audition because I'm like, this girl has to be striking in some way. And I think if I put my light color contacts on, it might make you do like a double take. So that's what I would do. I would literally change my face to fit the character, because I'm definitely one of those actors that like once I start putting the clothes on, I feel more of the character. Like when I'm wearing combat boots versus heels, it's a huge difference. I walk different. And actually there's a testament to that, because when I played an officer on, I can't remember what show, but I played an officer and it was SWAT. And I had real police attire. And that ish is heavy, dude. Like now I see why all cops like walk like this, because it's so heavy. Not to mention, I was like, I did not go pee the whole time because I did not want to take off all of that stuff. So I'm like, that's another thing. Like, you don't realize that the uncomfortability of being a cop and like just this way that you walk. So now every time I have an audition where I play a cop, I remember what it was like to wear all that gear. Any other questions? Okay, well, until I get another question, I will tell you about the Sharon Bialy story. So I went to her office with a plant, and I was very boldly being like, hi, I'm Kristen. And normally, like, I didn't get to Sharon. I got to her assistant. But normally they're like, yeah, and just leave it right there. And I was like, no, I want to make sure she gets this plant. Now, I don't recommend just giving a bunch of presents to everybody. I don't like that. But I read Sharon Bialy's book. I was obsessed with Breaking Bad. I love Handmaid's Tale. She just does really gritty stuff. And I really wanted to be a part of that show. It was just totally my wheelhouse. And so I sent her a postcard every single week for 6 weeks. My manager was like, Kristen, don't do that. That's going to make you look desperate. And I was like, I don't care. And so I did it anyway. Now, did I get an audition with Sharon Bialy? No. But I did get an audition with John Papsadera, who is for things like, I will answer that question in a second. So who does Westworld and all these other shows that I watch. So to me, I feel like, all right, maybe I didn't get with Sharon Bialy, but I did get something in the wheelhouse of what I like. So I always think that like a flow out, it doesn't matter. It's like it will come back in another way. And that is our way as actors to be able to promote ourselves. Like, how else are we going to do it? Like, when you go out in the world, there's billboards here and there and there and there. How many times when you like just heart something on Instagram, now you're getting every day, or as soon as you're going through your feed, you're like, I saw that. And eventually what happens? You're going to pay for it. You're going to buy it and you're going to pay for it. So that's kind of what I did. I just kind of used that mentality. I'm like, I was like, even if she throws my postcard in the trash, she will see my face as it goes down and she'll remember me. Okay, so now to answer this other question that came in while I was telling this story. How do you meet casting directors in this day and age? This is, oh my gosh. Obviously, like this was like something for me that I was also going through because, now I'm in Georgia. I have to get I have to get these casting directors to know me. And something what I loved when I spoke with Kurt in my interview with Kurt is he said to me that your way of meeting casting directors in the self-tape land, because they've been doing self-tape way before pandemic, and is if you get another audition from the same casting director, then you have met them and they know you. And it's like that is your way of like no longer being in non-existence with them. But now I don't know if it is like this in LA, but in Georgia they just started opening up live casting directors and agents coming to Get Seen Studios. I have not used Get Seen Studios myself, but I will definitely be starting to go there now that it's live because yes, I do want to put a face to a casting director, and I want the casting director to see my face and see my personality, see what it would be like to work with me, because I feel like sometimes, I don't know about you, but like sometimes you just want to work with people that you like, not necessarily that are talented than you or more talented than someone else. It's just like, I just kind of want to work with her. Sharon gave me an audition from a fax I sent her. I cold called her and she asked me to fax her resume. See? That's so cool, Gino. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you never know. And Sharon is like apparently a very tough office to get into. I still haven't gone out for Sharon Bialy, and it's been what, 10 years since I did that postcard thing? No, it can't be that long. Oh my God, I think it might be. I think it was like 7 years actually. 7 years. Yeah, I just signed with my manager. So, yeah, I will never tell anyone to not do something. Like they'll say to me, like, do you think that I should not email the casting director? And I'm like, I don't know. I would do that. Like, sometimes, when there's a submission, like for like a modeling agency or something like that, like, okay, it'd be different if it was like I first, I had no experience or something like that. But like when I moved to Georgia, like I was like, you know what, I have a whole resume. Like I'm not gonna go through this whole, let me submit my picture, one picture and this and that, and I'm gonna follow all the rules. I'm just gonna contact them and be like, listen, this is what I've been doing in LA. I would love to be a part of your group. Like, can you see me? And it worked. So I don't know. I think you have to pick and choose what is safe, but also I don't care about I don't care about making a fool of myself. I don't care. Like to me, my talent is going to outweigh anything else. And honestly, like I'm very nice about it. It's not like I'm being a total bitch and being like, hey, yeah, like I know that your time is valuable, but, and then doing like 3 pages of how amazing I am. Like it's concise. I don't want to waste your time, but I also want to show you like I should be on your side, But I didn't always have that. I'm like much older than I was when I first started. I fell a lot along the way. I broke a lot of rules, and also I don't recommend doing this either. I will tell you, this is a lesson that I learned was way before I had business etiquette. Agencies know each other. So if another agent asks you, why did you leave your other agent? They're not necessarily asking you for real. It's more like, what are you going to say about that other person? And I remember being like, oh, well, I never got auditions and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like complaining. And it was like, hang up. Because what does that say about you? It says, what if something happens with us? Are you going to do the same thing? Are you going to talk bad about us? So now I'm very much pragmatic. Yeah, pragmatic. I think that's the word. Or diplomatic. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so I'm very much more diplomatic about like if I leave an agent, it's more like I hit a road where I wasn't going out as much, but I won't say that. I'll just say like I'm separating because we just had different views of where our future would go. And that is the truth. Like if you're only sending me out for like smaller roles and I've been doing these roles for 7 years and you don't think I should be auditioning for something more, then we don't see eye to eye. So that's like one of the things that I've learned along the way. Oh my gosh, I see your comments and as I'm talking and then they go away and then I don't see how I can get them back. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. All message visit. Ah, I did it. Okay. All right. Okay. Depending on the work, do you have a preference between casting networks, Actors Access, and Backstage? Are there other sites? Okay. This is such a good question, and I don't want to talk bad about any casting site. But I like to go with, I want to submit at the same places that the agents are submitting. So, because it all costs so much money. Everything has gone up. Casting Frontier has gone up. Actors Access is pretty much the same, but in some places there it's like expensive, like $25 to put a picture up, and then like $10 after that, and then $20 for every minute that you want to put on your, so it just adds up for us. And it's like, it's kind of a monopoly. So like why would I choose casting sites that agents don't use? So Backstage was great. Yes, it was, especially in the beginning, especially if you live in New York, especially if you're a singer, especially if you're gigging. But I will say Actors Access is what, or Breakdowns Express, which is like under Actors Access, that is what agents use. So I use Actors Access and I use Casting Networks, which is what my commercial agents use. So those are the two ones that I use to submit. So yeah, that's the answer to your question. I would not do any other casting site unless you're like in the beginning stages and you need experience and you're willing, because I think I joined all casting, I think, for like a month just to test it out, because I've been hearing a lot of the new generation actors talking about this all casting. For me, it wasn't as helpful because it was a lot of like background work or like being an audience member, or maybe like the prices were like, or I'm sorry, the payment was like $100 for a day's work. I mean, I can't do that because a babysitter for me costs $120 for the day. So if I can't be making less than my babysitter. Like it just doesn't work, you know? So, so there, that's the answer to that question. Let's see. What other questions are there? Okay. So now, can you share your experience with foreign actors working in USA, or maybe recommendation how they start? Okay, so this is a good question. The only reason I know a little bit about this question is because I dated a British actor. And it was kind of heartbreaking because like every 3 years he'd have to go back and renew his visa, his artist visa. Like he could not have another job except in acting. And he was, I don't know if he was famous, but he's done TV in England. But then when he'd come here, it's like nobody knows who he is. And so I feel like if you're in another country, I think that the best thing to do is just to be seen, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, for example. It's better to just be seen. I mean, you got Netflix shows shooting in Korea and China and Sweden and all these places that you can find work where you are, get recognizable on something like Netflix, and all the other social media platforms. I would absolutely do a YouTube channel. Like you just have to be seen and then have people come to you. That's my personal recommendation. Unfortunately, the guy that I did is no longer acting in the United States. He had to get like a work visa. Every now and then he'll do comedy, stand-up comedy. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Okay, next questions. So we have, okay. Okay, I don't have any new questions. So I'm going to end off now. So if there's any other people that have any other questions, ask them now. And then I'll definitely be doing another live very soon. Thank you so much for coming. All 7 of you. I love you. It's great. And hopefully I'll be able to do more of these in the future. And anyone who's watching after the fact, I hope that whatever I said helps you. Okay, bye. Have a good one.